Hello, episode 112 of Three Things with Ian. It is Earth Day. It is April 22nd. I did propose to my now wife on Earth Day at this university, Salve Regina University in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island, and I am excited. The sun is shining. I have soccer practice. It's a good day, and I'm glad to be spending approximately 13 minutes with all of you. So, on today's episode, we're talking a little sports, Earth Day, and a show recommendation, or an expected show recommendation that I'm dying to share with you. So let's dive in. Welcome back to those who've been with me for a while, and welcome if today's your first episode. You have 111 more to watch. The Pistons, my Detroit Pistons, my second favorite team. I'm a diehard Boston Celtics fan, but my second favorite team is the Detroit Pistons. They won their first playoff game since, not last year, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago. May 26, 2008 was the last time the Pistons won a playoff game. Only 7 players are still active from that date. And yes, one of them was LeBron James, who essentially is immortal. Maybe he's a vampire. I don't know. So, the Pistons beat the Chicago Bulls last night. I think it was 100-94. Or sorry, they beat the Knicks, the Knickerbockers, excuse me. They won by about 6 points, I think 100 to about 94, whatever. It had been 6,174 days between wins. Long time to hold your breath. Detroit's leading scorer that night in 2008 is now 50 years old. And their leading scorer and their best player, Cade Cunningham, really phenomenal, electric shooting guard. He was 6 the last time that the Pistons won. Okay, I have to apparently verify myself back into my notes, so excuse me for that. So, let's talk Earth Day. Number 2 topic. Big day. April 22nd. It's one of those dates that I never can quite remember. I always know it's late-ish April, but I'm never sure on the date. So, it is April 22nd. And when I think of Earth Day, I think of myself as a wee child picking up trash in Westminster, Massachusetts, where I hearken from, and I remember the trash bags. I remember just walking along the sides of the roads and picking up trash, and I'm not sure how many years we did it for. I'm not even sure that the memory is completely true, because with all things, there's some fabrication involved with time elapsing. But anyway, the origins of Earth Day trace back to the environmental degradation prevalent in the U.S. during the 1960s. This was not a eco-friendly time. There was significant air and water pollution and very few regulations left in place. Although, these days, who knows? April 22nd, 1970 was selected as the first inaugural International Earth Day. They felt like this was a day that fell on a weekday initially, between spring break and final exams, making it a potential for students to participate. Because it was a very grassroots type of movement. Senator Nelson from Wisconsin, he was one of the people that was on the steering committee, one of the driving forces to promote the first Earth Day. The first Earth Day in 1970, 20 million Americans participated in rallies, demonstrations, and educational events. My son just told me today, he's a 7th grader, that he had to pick up some trash at school for Earth Day. So this massive outpouring of support is considered the birth of the modern environmental movement. And its impact and legacy? Significant. The EPA traces its roots back to this 1970 day. And the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act, right? Rachel Carson's Silent Spring was also another big driving force for Earth Day. When I think of Earth Day, I think of two amazing individuals. One of them's Captain Planet. The power is yours. Yours. I don't know why I said that so goofily. Sorry. The Earth's champion, Captain Planet, to encourage the Planeteers. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Captain Planet. I don't know if it's streaming. It might be one of those shows that's kind of just lost to the abyss, to the void. Captain Planet was famous for saying, not only the power is yours, which is nice, empowering, I like that. The smallest actions can make the biggest difference. So there's so many versions of that saying, but that was his. Also, the Lorax. My goodness, think of the Lorax. I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees, for the trees have no tongues, right? I remember so many things about the Lorax. No movie. We're talking just book, guys. Just book. Please don't mention the movie. I remember I went to a nature camp, through the Audubon Society, and we put on a production of the Lorax. We also tried to cook hot dogs, plant-based hot dogs, using solar panels or solar technology that did not work. Good thing they were already pre-cooked and essentially just fibrous roots, basically. Anyway, the Lorax. It's a book that depicts a character called the Onceler, who, driven by greed, cuts down trees to make a product, the thneed that everybody needs, ultimately destroying the forest and polluting the surrounding areas. This was seen, obviously, as a representation of the dangers of the logging industry. And apparently it was so detrimental to the logging industry that they tried to ban the book. But the Lorax says, and I love saying this, I think about it all the time, unless someone like you cares a lot, a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, on this Earth Day, I'm not asking you to do anything crazy. Pick up some trash, kiss a tree, hug a tree, be good to the planet. At least be outside for a little bit and just take some deep breaths and enjoy the relatively clean air and the relatively purified water that we have access to. So, that is my Earth Day booster. All right. A show that I have not seen season 2 of. It drops, I think, either today or very, very soon. It is part of the Star Wars universe. It is Andor, Andor. And this is the only Star Wars show of the last 10 years I recommend. And there have been many, many other shows. Obi-Wan, Mandalorian. I don't even know how many. There's just, part of the problem is there's just too many. But anyway, Andor, it's phenomenal. It is truly worth watching. It has been praised, and rightly so, for its unique and profound approach and grounded approach to the Star Wars storytelling, offering a compelling look at the Empire's inner workings and the rebellion's beginnings. It excels at creating a believable and detailed livable world, right? Exploring themes of oppression, rebellion, and the consequences of power in a way that feels fresh and relevant. The show has a clear vision. Great shows know who they are, and everything builds sequentially. And a slow, deliberate pace that allows the characters and political landscape to breathe. We are not rushed through this, right? So Andor is great because it avoids the fantastical elements of the Star Wars universe. We're not doing a lot with the Force. We're not doing a lot with like over the top evil people like Palpatine and Vader, right? We're dealing with real persons with real actual struggles, right? The real world consequences of the Empire's rule. This includes economic exploitation, surveillance, and the prison industrial complex. Oh my goodness, right? Our main character, Cassian Andor, right? It goes into his backstory. He's not a perfect character. In the first scene, he visits a brothel. For goodness sake, this is not your granddad's Star Wars, right? This is a new take. The villains are complex, blurring the lines between good and evil. That was something that the original trilogy and all the other movies didn't do a great job with. There were good guys and there were evil guys. And there was really no mixing. There was no gray. It was black and white, right? Andor presents a nuanced view of the Empire as a series of workplace power struggles, highlighting the bureaucratic and personal elements that contribute to its oppressive nature. It's a show about people who happen to live on planets in the Star Wars universe. So I was reading a very interesting review on it, and this individual, he's very right. He says that the Star Wars saga was aimed initially at children. Not an insult. It's great. Dashing heroes, menacing villains, aliens galore, awesome weapons, and great special effects, right? Who doesn't love Baby Yoda? Which I liked initially, then it got old after a while. But with the possible exception of the Empire Strikes Back, though, the Star Wars saga has not thought very hard about either politics or the characters who inhabit those politics. The original trilogy had a fairly simple plot line, and the relationships between characters were fairly simple, right? The Force Awakens, we finally get a character, a stormtrooper who hasn't had enough and who defects, which is cool. It's a cool idea, but they don't really do anything with it. It's very much left unexplored, right? We see Luke mature, but other than that, the politics and the characterizations are pretty much archetypes, right? There's good rebellion, there's bad empire. That's your politics. Andor has followed through on the promise by Andor works because it takes the simple, basic Star Wars premise. There's a galactic empire making everyday citizens' lives horrible, and citizens are beginning to chafe at its oppressive rule, and we flesh out the coercive structures undergirding the empire. We talk about a world where there's world weariness. Most adults are just trying to survive in menial labor jobs. So in doing so, the show does a fantastic job of showing the institutions of autocracy at work, right? So I really like Andor because of these reasons, and just because it's a fun show. The characters are not Luke and Han Solo and Leia. They're average they're average Joe and Janes, right? There are some fun droids. There are some crazy villains. But it feels grounded in a way that I really have always wanted Star Wars shows to be. I want Star Wars. You could do a courtroom drama, takes place in the Star Wars universe. You could do a three camera sitcom, takes place in the Star Wars universe, right? We got to do new and creative things with this. I'm tired of rehashing the old stories. So, Andor season 2, also, it's going to be done at the end of 2 seasons. It gets in, it tells a story, it gets out. You know me. I love that about this. The last show that had a good ending, the last great show was Breaking Bad. That was 10 years ago, guys, right? The Marvelous Miss Maisel came really close to nailing it, and the Hitman show on HBO. I forget the name. Anyway, those are really the only shows that I thought knew when to leave us. Good shows leave us at the right time, wanting a little more, but feeling so good about the resolution. So Andor Season 2, like I said, it drops now or drops very soon. I gave you some reasons to watch it. Please do so. Let me know how you think about it. Remember the Lorax. He speaks for the trees. Earth Day. Let's be good to our planet. And the Pistons won a game, an NBA playoff game, a game of meaning and substance. I don't think they're going to win the NBA championships, but it is good to be talking about the Pistons in late April. It is fantastic feeling. Okay, I'm going to leave you with these thoughts. Earth Day, Southern Virginia University, where I proposed to my now wife on Earth Day. Yeah, be good to the planet. It's the only one we got. Despite Elon Musk and other people saying we're going to Mars in a few years, no. This is it. We're here. Okay, guys, take care. Cheers.